Alright guys, so welcome back to a brand new video. Today's video, we're going to talk about an audio device. It's not headphones, it's not speakers, but it's made to actually enhance your experience with both. Today we're talking about the Premium X Pump from X-Round. Now, we definitely need to start off with the fact that the name to me it sounds like a sex toy. There's no way around it. And the fact that it comes in a little black box like this, I don't know, I had to share that. Okay, so looking at packaging, you can tell they actually paid attention to detail. They're trying to give you an experience, and just by the way that the outside cover slides off and gives you the effect of, you know, just this little ripple over the front of the box is a nice touch. Now inside the box, you have the small amp, you have your carrying pouch, the cables that come with it, which includes a 3.5mm headphone cable, and then a micro USB to USB, because you're able to plug this straight into your computer or other devices with USB to use it powered and amplified that way. So yes, technically this can be used as a DAC amp, but this amp is different in a sense that it's made to give you a 3D surround sound experience just with stereo sources. So headphones that are left and right, obviously, and then a 2-speaker setup. It's made to give you the effect that you have all of these things going on around you. It's really giving you virtual surround sound, which is artificial and works in some cases, and then sometimes it doesn't. But does this device for $150 actually pull this off? So I was intrigued, really excited, because if this can do it, imagine plugging this thing in and gaming and getting that full environment like around you. Imagine what this can do with movies, with trailers, just all kind of stuff that this can open up with headphones, and even my desktop speaker setup, which is the Bose Companion 5. Amazing setup, but it's not a surround sound setup. So $150 puts this in a category with other amps that are really incredible. So this thing needed to stand out. All right, so let's look at this little thing itself. I mean, like, this is the size of like a pack of gum. It's very, very small, and that's a good start, especially if you plan on trying to use this portably. So on the device itself, let's go ahead and point that out. On the backside, there's a micro USB input. That is where you charge it, and it seems to get about 5 to 6 hours of battery life. So if you're going to use this for movies, that's 2 to 3 depending on the length of the movie. But right next to it is the light that comes on when it's powered on, which you do from the other side, where you'll see the adjustment to either go to headphones or turn it to speakers. Now that actually does matter, because it changes the way the sound is based off which setting you switch it to. Right next to that is the volume up and down. You have your 3.5mm input and then 3.5mm output. And on top is your button to change the effect. You know, no effect, it's just not lit up. But if you hit it once, it turns white, and it just amplifies or boosts your sound a little bit, and actually does a really good job. Now when you hit it again, it turns orange, and that's when it gives you the full, you know, virtual surround sound 3D effect. And to me, what it's doing, and some of the things where I thought it sounded really artificial and didn't work, is it's adding a slight reverb, kind of an echo to voices and to environments, where it makes it sound like it's bouncing off around you, and it kind of has that effect of being, you know, further away from you, adding depth. And in some cases, in some things it worked. Some things it was just overdone, and this thing was digitally doing things to audio that is kind of hard to explain. It sounded like things were kind of coming in and out when it shouldn't, and it sounded processed on certain things where it shouldn't. So there were certain things that this just really screwed up the sound and made it where it wasn't enjoyable to listen to at all, and that's with speakers or headphones. But there were other times, like plugging this in, where I used the USB connection into my Surface, plugging my headphones in, and, you know, watching trailers and listening to music, where it amplified my headphones to a really enjoyable experience. So if I'm not at my desktop where I use my normal amp, you know, able to kind of use this to amplify sound, just to where the Surface's audio plugged into headphones really isn't doing much. So this is where it gets interesting, because I think their main focus was using 2-speaker source, you know, a left and right speaker source to amplify like in a home theater or at your computer. And when I plugged it into my desktop using the Bose speakers, it didn't sound that great at all. I mean, like it took away from what these speakers were really capable of. So overall, using it on the desktop with a left and right speaker, I just didn't enjoy. I found situations where I like using it with headphones. I thought with music it was pretty good as long as it's not on the 3D effect, because anytime you add virtual surround sound to music, it just ruins it. But I think just the slight amplification, and as long as your headphones can handle them, you know, it didn't cause any kind of distortion. It was still really clean. Overall with that, it sounded really good. But again, I think you're buying this, or the $150, you're paying for that 3D virtual surround sound effect that it just doesn't really pull off. So my overall thoughts to really just kind of sum this up is $150 could definitely be used on an amp, but a much better amp at a much lower cost. I love the idea of what they're trying to do. The idea of being able to have a small amp to give you a surround sound effect really is intriguing. That's what caught my interest, and that's why I had high hopes for this thing. But I really didn't like what it was doing to my audio. But it's just that the biggest selling point is getting it to just work and have that full effect that they're trying to sell you on, that it's just not there yet. So thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Thank you guys for checking out all the other videos. And as always, guys, make sure to stay tuned for more.